Welcome to the second annual Moctober series where we cut apart Moc Toe boots all the way through October, hence the name October, Moc Toe, Moctober. And we're starting it off with Harley Davidson because I've always wondered if Harley Davidson makes decent boots or if they're garbage. And it was also fitting because we have the Harley Chopper build series starting not next week, but the week after. And it's gonna be so good. We've been pulling a lot of late nights and thousands and thousands of dollars poured into this video series in the hopes that it's going to do well and people are gonna like this chopper series. But I really need your guys' support on those videos because it's a different style of video, but I honestly think it's the coolest chopper that's ever been built on YouTube, and I think you guys are gonna love it. So if you're not subscribed, consider subscribing because you don't wanna miss that 4-part series. Plus we're gonna do a bunch of giveaways in it to incentivize people to actually watch the series. So consider subscribing. And enough groveling, now let's get to the boot information. So the brand is Harley Davidson, the style is the Beau boot. The color is black, they weigh 1 pound, 13 ounces. Price of these is $150 and they're made in China. Now let's go over the information we can gather about this boot before we cut it in half, starting with the upper. So the upper is a pretty decent leather actually. It's a chrome tan leather, it's a decent thickness, it's 5 to 6 ounces. But the upper also has a zipper on it. And I hate zippers 99% of the time. Occasionally there's a reason for a zipper, but 99% of the time, I hate them. But at least this zipper is a YKK zipper, which is a decent quality zipper. But I just don't understand why they put a zipper on this boot because you've got the speed hooks here to make it easy and fast to take on and off. So there's no need for a zipper. It's a little redundant in my opinion. Next to the lining, so the lining is a really cheap mesh lining, and I hate cheap mesh linings because they don't last as long, they're hotter, they get smellier faster, and they always wear out right at the heel. But at least this boot has a little bit of a heel patch. I'm not sure what the material is, we'll see when we get it cut in half, but at least it's not just fabric all the way down through the heel. Next to the insert, or the insole, so this is honestly one of the cheapest insoles I've ever seen in a boot. It's just really cheap foam. It feels like a packaging foam almost. But the nice thing is it is removable, so if you hate it, you can replace it, or when you wear through this, you can replace it. Next to the construction, so this is a Goodyear welted boot, which is nice because Goodyear welted boots are easy to resole, but it's a plastic welt, which have a tendency to split and crack, unlike a leather welt. And you might be thinking, well, it's only 150 bucks. You shouldn't expect a leather welt from a $150 boot. But we've seen a leather welt in a cheaper boot in the Rock Roosters that had a leather welt, and it was cheaper than 150 bucks. So it can be done for under this price range to get a decent welt on a boot, but we'll see once we get it cut in half because the internal components are gonna have just as much of an effect on the resoleability of these boots as the welt itself. And finally to the outsole. So this is the first time I've ever seen a magic eraser used as an outsole because this outsole is so soft and lightweight. It's just a really soft foam, and the softer the outsole is, the more comfortable the shoe is going to be because it just squishes more. It's not as hard underneath your feet, but the sooner it wears out and the less durable it is. So depending on what you want out of a boot, you might like a really soft outsole, but just keep in mind that the softer the outsole is, the faster it wears out, the more it's prone to chunking and falling apart. And this is by far the softest outsole I've ever seen on a boot. It literally feels like a stiff magic eraser. So that's the basic information on this Harley boot. And now it's time to cut them in half after we talk about the sponsor of this video. This video is brought to you by Privacy. Privacy lets you buy things online using virtual cards instead of having to use your real ones, protecting your identity and bank information on the internet. And right now, new customers will automatically get $5 to spend towards their first purchase. So go to privacy.com/roseanvil to redeem that, and I'll also put a link in the description. So what is Privacy? Privacy is a tool that makes it super easy to manage your financial lives online while keeping all of your most important information secure by generating those virtual numbers. Privacy masks your real bank information, so you never have to worry about giving it out to people you don't know online. And we use it in the shop anytime that we are buying a fake version of a shoe or a boot. Those websites are a little bit sketchy, or if you're doing some weird transaction and you're not sure what's going on, we use Privacy exactly for that reason, because worst case scenario, if they do steal our information, it's not the real information, it's that virtual card that Privacy generates. So worst case scenario, if they get it, you just turn the card off, or you do what we do and we put a very specific limit on the card so that there's no room for anyone to steal anything anyway. Privacy allows you just to turn your cards off anytime you want and reactivate them. So if you don't want to watch Netflix for a couple months, or you're going on a trip, instead of canceling canceling Netflix, you just turn off your card, and it makes it super easy to manage. Because you can use privacy not only to protect your personal information, but also help you with budgeting and tracking spending and putting limits on card if you have a spending problem like I do. So head to privacy.com/roseanvil to get that $5 for free. It's literally just for free, so you might as well do it, and it helps out the channel by checking out them in the description. So thanks again to Privacy. All right, we got them cut in half, and let's see what's inside. So remember that video I made that was called Carhartt Should Be Embarrassed? There's a good chance that this video is gonna be titled Harley Davidson Should Be Embarrassed, because these boots are remarkably similar to the Carhartt boots that I hated so much. And I'd be willing to bet that these two boots are made in the same factory. So what don't I like about the Harley Davidson boots? First, the magic eraser outsole, the floppy layers, just like the Carhartt. You don't want to see the layers moving around like this. It just leads to premature wear because each layer's moving independently, wearing them out sooner. The shank in here is pretty useless. It's just a really soft, mild steel. It's not a tempered steel. It's not, as soon as you bend it once, it's just done. Next thing I don't like is the garbage insole in this thing, but it is replaceable. One thing that's not replaceable is the zipper. I hate the zipper on this boot. And let's not forget about the fact that they just, anywhere they could put the Harley Davidson name and logo, they did. On the eyelets, the tongue, the outsole. There's a huge metal badge on the side. It just is so gaudy. But what do I like about this boot? At least it doesn't have a fabric counter cover, kind of like the Carhartts did. There is a different material. It's not the best material. It's not leather. It's just a polyester board cover. It will last longer, but it's not quite as durable as leather. I wouldn't really be too concerned about that, to be honest. And the leather is a pretty good leather. I was actually pleasantly surprised with the leather of this boot. It's really not a horrible boot, but it's far from a good boot. And part of that is because of that price point of $150. But I just don't really understand why Harley does the same thing Carhartt does, where they rely on their name to sell subpar products with huge margins in order to just milk their following as much as possible. I hate that stuff. And the thing is, their motorcycles are expensive and they're nice, they're high quality. A lot of people love Harleys, but they just slap their name on the worst stuff. And I really think that products like this hurt the Harley Davidson brand. And Harley Davidson has really been struggling to stay relevant with the younger generations. And I think a big part of that is that they're devaluing their brand by slapping their name on anything that they think they can convince Harley Davidson fans to buy. And in reality, you can spend $50 more to get to that $200 price point to get some higher quality boots that actually have the longevity and the materials and the construction to last several times longer than this boot. So to me, it's pretty clear this is a boot that you want to avoid. Let me know what you guys think, and hopefully this doesn't taint your enthusiasm for the Harley build, because I'm disappointed in this boot, but I think you guys are gonna like that Harley build. And it's the last day to order your toaster tee or jersey. You can choose your numbers on the back. I love this thing. So thank you guys so much for everything you do, and Moctober's here. It's gonna be really fun. We got all the old boots from last year, a worn out version to cut in half. So I think we have 17 videos coming out in October. So prepare yourselves. Tuesday, Thursdays, and Saturdays. Thank you guys. See ya.